You know what the All-Star game reminds me of? It's
what?
It's like, like youth basketball camp, and you just are like, for the love of God, can you just try, like, just a little bit? We got to be here for 3 fucking hours. Like, can you just give me a little bit of effort? And just, you have these kids over, like, we're doing a fucking passing drill, and they're shooting half-court shots. That's what it reminds me of.
I told Bailey and you that I am very proud to say I watched not 1 second of All-Star Weekend or the game.
Well,
and I may be, in this podcast, I'm probably supposed to pretend that I did. I understand that, everybody at home. I didn't watch a single second of it.
I
did watch some college basketball.
Yeah.
But listen, I'm sorry I cannot get excited about All-Star Weekend. The clip you sent us of our friend of the show, Coach JB, laughing his ass off at the dunk contest was one of the, and people at home, if you haven't seen it, go check it out. It's one of the funniest videos I've ever seen.
I'll put the link in the description.
Just losing his mind,
it's
laughing
hilarious.
at these
It's
guys.
like a 2-minute clip, too.
Yeah.
But I actually think I have a solution to the All-Star game. And I had it on in the background. I didn't actually watch much of it. I think I watched the first 5 minutes of it and got bored as always. But I have a solution, and I wholeheartedly believe that they should do this. You allow them to bet on the game. Like, for one game, you allow the NBA players to bet on their own props and on their own game. That would make them actually try in the game. That's option number one.
That would make it pretty entertaining, honestly.
Tell me that wouldn't get ratings. Number two
option.
option.
They would definitely be trying, because they'd be betting on themselves. Or you'd have people maybe betting on the other team, and that could get interesting. But
it'd be real interesting. I also think it'd be fun if you're going to make it a joke, every basket you score, you have to take a shot or sip a beer. I mean, that would be...
In that game, everybody would be dead. Scored in the four. I mean, what was the final score of it?
It was 211 to 187.
Yeah.
186, I'm sorry. It's 397
And what did we
points.
say I looked it up.
362 and a half.
Yeah.
So it went over. Imagine having a lightning bet on the under in that game.
Well, first of all, if you had a lightning bet or a bet on the under in the NBA All-Star game, that's when you need to look into retirement, right?
That would be like
that's insane.
That's a drug you can't pay for right there. That adrenaline. Oh my God. But
and under an NBA All-Star
it was so boring, not just the game. The whole thing. I'm curious why people care about it so much. Like, why is there this uproar like it needs to matter? It hasn't been good for a while. Now, I will say this.
I think it's just the old timers are trying to fit. I think they're trying, like Larry Bird came out or whatever and was saying, they need to try, whatever. But it's like, I think it's one of those things where the old timers want it to matter again, and it just doesn't to these guys. Unless you give them, some kind of incentive, which Larry was basically saying, no, like, we used to play for pride because it mattered to us. We wanted to beat the West. We wanted to be the better conference, which, typically, sports have been ruined. But, yeah, that's typically what guys wanted to do. They wanted to prove that they were the superior conference, and now it's just, I'm not getting paid to do this. I'm going to just, I'm not, whatever. And I don't know if I'm sure they may get something for being an all-star, right? I can't imagine it's,
But it is funny how they all want to be like, they all act like these, like, ultra progressive guys and want to make like statements about this stuff, but like they're playing for charities and this shit and they don't give a fuck. Like, that is kind of fucking funny. It's ironic that they want to be these guys who are, very, very progressive and push for social justice, and then they play for their charity and don't give a shit.
Make their shoes in sweatshops in China.
That's right. Damn straight. It wasn't just the game. Now I will say I have another proposition. What if we did this? What if we had cross-sport all-star games? So, like, NBA players do a fucking home run derby. Now, that would be fucking cool. I would like that. Or, like, you put the baseball players and they have to do, like, an NHL, like, hockey shootout.
I saw someone mention that online, and that would be pretty fun. Like, NBA, the NBA guys all think they could play in the NFL, and the NFL guys all think they can play in the NBA, so you cross it over and make it, that would be... It would be much more entertaining than what we have now. I mean, I didn't see the who won. You said Lillard won the 3-point contest, right?
Lillard won. He was the second.
Who won the dunk contest?
Mac McClung. So it's both of them repeated.
But he's like just on a 20-man roster, or
no,
what?
He's
or what's
not
the
even.
deal?
They changed. So last year, when he won the dunk contest, they put him on like a 10-day contract to be able to do the dunk contest. And then this year, they just changed the whole rules and said, no, you could be on a G League roster because he's not on an NBA roster. And so they had him. They had Obi Toppin's brother in it, which, by the way, was
Coach Jamie is laughing about that. Who the fuck is that guy?
James
He's
Toppin.
like, that's Obi Toppin's brother. Obi Toppin sucks. And I'm like, we got his brother in the dunk contest?
They had Jaylen Brown was like the big name. He was the worst one. They literally just put him in the championship because he was Jaylen Brown. He was the worst dunker of all of them. They were horrific dunks. Mac McClung, I guess, maybe it's just me, but it's like watching a white kid get that high up in the air is somewhat appealing to me. So like I can watch that. But in general, it was horrible. The skills challenge. It's funny. I used to like watching that back when they used to do the point guard skills challenge and they would do the actual.
They don't do that anymore?
No, it's like all these stupid ass little games. I got bored with it like in 5 minutes and stopped paying attention to it.
Yeah, they used to do like an obstacle course kind of, right? You do a bounce pass and then a whatever, and make a three, make a layup, and
it was
stop your time.
And now it's like it is that, but it's completely different. It's like it's a team thing, and then there's like that, and then they do like a passing competition and a shooting competition, and it's all combined. I don't even know how the fuck they determined who won because I stopped paying attention to it, to be honest. But that was the basis of it, which also I thought it was bullshit. Wemby was in that, but how was Wemby not an all-star? I don't get that. That's crazy to me that he wasn't even an all-star. I mean, the guy's averaging like 20, 11 and leading the league in blocks. He had a triple-double with blocks the other day. The guy, I'm also actually surprised because I guess the fans only determine the starters, right? Is that how it works? I think the fans determine the starters, the coaches determine the reserves.
But there were no, I mean, I agree that he should have got in, but there were no rookies that were all-stars, right? I mean, no one else got in. Yeah, okay.
No,
I mean, I thought
they
Wemby
put
should have
Ben
been.
Caro in, who was a second-year guy from the Magic, but nobody who was an actual rookie.
He's had a pretty good year.
Yeah,
like I said, I watched no basketball, but I've seen them play like 2 or 3 times. I think just at your house where it's like crunch time and the Magic always go to him like at the end of the games. He's like their go-to guy. So.
And they're not like horrific, I guess. They're not good. The only thing, I don't know if you saw I don't even know how to say her name, Sabrina Ionescu.
Ionescu, I think.
She played against Steph Curry. Did you see any of that?
Oh, so they did. I heard they were doing that, but Curry ended up winning, right?
3-point contest, yeah. She shot, it was funny, she shot from the men's 3-point line.
Oh.
But she used a women's ball. And so Kenny the Jet Smith on there was like, well, if she's using a woman's ball, or like if she's shooting from the men's 3-point line, why doesn't she use a men's ball? And they were arguing back and forth, and Reggie Miller was kind of irking him on it. It was very awkward on the broadcast.
I actually think that's like admirable of her from going from the, like, if I were her, I'd be like, okay, well, I'm going to do this is my 3-point line. I'm going to do the women's one with my ball.
Right.
And you do yours with your ball. But the fact that she actually did the NBA threes with her ball, I would say
she almost won.
That's plenty good instead of, I mean, you can't expect them. When you use the same ball your whole life, you can't be like, oh, I'm going to just start shooting threes with the men's ball.
I agree.
mean, she would have had zero chance.
Make Steph use the women's ball and see how
that would have been more fun. They should have switched it, made her shoot men's ball threes, and Steph shoot women's balls.
I like that.
The shorter ones.
That would have
probably actually screwed them up.
My issue with it is, though, and I think that was actually probably the most entertaining part because I think they actually tried. Because I think Ionescu wanted to beat Steph, and Steph didn't want to lose. So, but I am tired, and I'm not. Maybe I shouldn't say this, but I'm just so tired of like, let's shove this equality in sports down our throats that ESPN and the NBA does. Like, Clay Travis said this. I think you might have been the one to tell me about this. You remember we're talking about Clay Travis. He's like a sports betting guy, where he was saying that the best. Or you take a good high school boys state champion, and they would beat the WNBA champion, and he put up
it wouldn't be close. It wouldn't be $1 million. Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that.
No.
Like that's the problem.
That's like the U.S. women's national team. I don't know if you heard this one. Like this is 3 years ago. Played the MLS FC Dallas 16 and under boys. Their academy, 16 and under, and the 16 and under boys beat them like 5-0.
Yeah, I see. There you go.
Yeah, so I mean, the best high school team for you know, the way, I mean, it wouldn't be particularly close, which is fine.
I'm not.
They're completely, you know,
right.
They're completely different, you know, separate things, but it's, you know, it's one makes a lot more money and a lot more people watch it, and the other really doesn't, and it's not, you know, it's not that big of a deal. Like, I just remember, and, you know,
it's just not entertaining.
Let's just let them be professionals. And listen, most of them, sure, they don't make millions of dollars because they don't bring in millions of dollars. But like the funniest one where it gets me is like, I'm fine with them, you know, trying to talk up the league because they have to try to. But I forgot what girl was on what team, but it's like, you know, play for the Connecticut Sun, was like, yeah, we need to be flying private to these games. And I forgot, I may have been like Travis or someone that just lost their fucking mind. It's like, you're lucky you're not on the fucking Greyhound bus. You're flying commercial, which is a privilege, and you're getting to the point because you bring in, no, you guys lose money.
Yes.
You think you should be flying private, and you get paid a salary. It's like insane. So,
the only reason that they exist is because of the NBA. The NBA's partnership with ESPN, and they force ESPN to broadcast some of their games and do that stuff. Look, there's nothing wrong with it. Their product isn't entertaining. It's just not. And the problem is, you have all these people who want this equality, but the majority of people who watch the WNBA, which isn't many people, they're men. The men are the people watching the WNBA. It's not women. So it's not like you have a bunch of women who over there like, oh, we should have equality with women's sports. It's like, well, none of you watch the fucking WNBA anyway. Now, I will say, Caitlin Clark broke the scoring record the other day. She's entertaining to watch.
Yeah.
And it's nothing to do with gender. She's just an entertaining basketball player. I watch her play. I watch all the games she plays. Yeah. Every single one. I watch her play. If she's on, I watch her play every single time because she's entertaining, because she's really, really good at her level. And there's nothing wrong with that. If you moved her up to the college level in men's, she would not score 33 points a game. I don't even know what she would score. But she's entertaining within the game, and people are going to these games and buying tickets to watch her play because she's entertaining. And there's no problem with the fact that most of that is not entertaining. I don't find the MLS entertaining, so I don't watch it. That's why those guys make less money, right? Over in Europe, that soccer is entertaining, so they watch it. It's dependent on where you are, the market you play in, what's entertaining and what's not. People don't watch it. You're not going to make a lot of money. You're not going to get the same privileges. You know, is it fair that a police officer makes less money significantly than an NBA player? No. You know, is it fair that a doctor makes less money than like LeBron James, depending on like who's doing something more important? It's not. That has nothing to do with it. It's the economics of the situation. The economics of the situation are, what is your market? How many people are 7 foot tall and can dunk a basketball and get millions of people to watch you play? And the answer is not a lot. And there's a bunch of people who can become doctors. It's still a small sample size, but it's a lot bigger in terms of the amount of people who can become doctors or policemen or whatever compared to professional athletes. That's why people don't watch WNBA. It's not entertaining. It doesn't draw any money. People don't care. You can have I was a 5'10" white kid, right? Like, I had no chance to play Division I college basketball. If I was a 5'10" white girl, I would. And just work hard, and you probably have a good chance. Like, I don't mean that in a bad way, but that's the truth. That's the truth of the matter.
That's like the joke I sent you and your dad that was hilarious. Andrew Schultz talking about how he wanted to make the WNBA something with, like, you know, all transgender or something. It was something along the lines like to make it more entertaining. But the funny part to me was like talking about is like, you got little Billy, who's this white kid that has no chance being over 5'10". He's like, I'm going to be a running back one day. I'm like, hey, no, you're not. You got a chance to play in my new league here. And the winner's like, he ain't going to go to he ain't going to play running back. It's like, I forget. That's a funny joke I sent to you and Big Dog.
That's pretty good.
But yeah, it's the reality of the situation.
Yeah.
Not going to be a lot of, you know, Matt McClung got God-given ability to jump that most white men don't have. So
I don't know
he's
where
winning
that
the dunk
came
contest. From. I don't know. It looks like he's got springs, and it's like, that guy can freaking jump.
He jumped over Shaq. It was like, and he really honestly didn't launch. Like, most of those people launch, he did not launch. Like, because you could see the height he gets on other dunks, and he was in the same spot. His head basically hits the rim. I don't know how tall he actually is, but he's like, Yeah, they can't be taller than 6 feet. The guy's pretty short. I think he's under 6 feet.
Yeah, I think
he's like 5'10".
I think he's like 5'10", 5'11".
I just remember him playing, like, even at Tech, I was like, man, that kid's kind of small out there, like, compared to these college players. Like, you know, I wish he was, like, a somewhat better basketball player because it would be entertaining to watch him in the NBA, but he's just not that great. Yeah, you know, looking at some of the other NBA stuff, I don't know if you saw, they fired, Brooklyn fired Jock Vaughn.
Yep, we got the best college coach to ever live, Kevin Ollie, taking over. I saw it.
National champion.
Two-time national champion.
Did he win 2?
I think so.
As a head coach, or was he? I think he was an assistant the first time.
Oh, was he? I don't know. I know he's won at least 1. I thought he may have won 2, which is crazy.
Well, I think because I know Kimba's year that they won, Calhoun was still the coach. And I think Napier's senior year, when they made the run as the 7th seed. You're probably
right. You remember this stuff better than me. I just know he was there for
I think that was the last one, unless they won another one that I can't remember. But I'm pretty sure.
You're probably right.
I think he did win as an assistant with Kimba. Like, I think he was an assistant there, won it with Kimba in 11, and then in 14 won it again as a head coach, and then got fired like 2 fucking years later. But it's crazy. Like, they gave him a multi-year extension. Like,
he won in 13, 14.
Yeah.
And then I think, he won as an assistant under Calhoun, 11. I guess. Yeah.
They gave this guy an extension. Multi-year extension, mind you. Less than a year ago. And they fire him. Like, this is becoming a really, like, consistent thing in the NBA. Like, they were, 21-33. They're 2.5 games out of the final play-in spot. Like, is that good? Absolutely not. Over the course of his 2 seasons, they were 71-68.
It's probably just because, which I think is stupid, but it has to do with, was he there when Durant?
No, they fired Nash.
So
I think he might have been the assistant.
So what it was is all the players like Jock Vaughn and probably like playing for him. And they were worried that it's so stupid, but it's like, oh, someone's going to come take Jock Vaughn from us, which isn't going to happen. But they just, that's how you work your way into extension. It's like Kevin Durant probably came and was like, you need to give my guy an extension if you want me to stay. I don't know if he was still there. I always forget the NBA carousel, but I assume he was there with Durant and Harden at some point.
I think that he took over as interim for that point when they traded Harden after it. Yeah. But I mean, it just
seems like that's how it always happens.
They were 0-8 and they got swept in back-to-back playoff series. But again, what's weird to me is the GM here is Sean Marks, who came from San Antonio. Just like they fire Steve Nash, they hire this guy, give him an extension, they fire this guy. It's the same type of shit with the Bucks, right? Like, they fire Budenholzer, they go hire Adrian Griffin.
He'll get a job in the next year, you'd have to assume.
Who, Budenholzer? Has to get a job, dude. I mean, the guy's one of the better coaches in the league. I'm a huge fan.
Someone will definitely hire him.
I honestly, I would love it if the Spurs came back and
that would be great.
That'd be awesome. I mean, what did he do? He got a guy in Giannis who was, a borderline all-star, and he became an MVP and an NBA champion under Bud. So, like, if you're looking for somebody to turn your franchise into a winning culture and a winning franchise, that's your guy. I mean, he is. Did it in Atlanta with no talent. He did it in Milwaukee when that team was not very good. So, yeah, that's ridiculous. I guess we can move on to some college basketball here. Had some good games this weekend.
I was looking at the games tonight. Really good games.
Really good
Creighton,
games.
UConn, BYU, Baylor.
Do you think
Texas Tech, TCU, Utah State, San Diego?
You think Creighton beats UConn tonight?
Yeah, I was looking at that. I was like, probably. It just seems like a spot that they...
Off that big win over Marquette, they dominated. Now you're going on the road to Creighton.
Well, UConn's so good. It's hard to pick against them.
Wait, is UConn favored? Or
I just pulled it up.
2.5. I can't remember
UConn's favored by 2.5.
2.5. Man, I don't know if I could, bring myself to back.
Creighton's playing pretty good though right now.
They are playing good.
Didn't they just beat the hell out of Butler? I can't remember.
They did on the road too. On the road. No,
UConn. Now listen, they haven't played the greatest teams, but they won at Xavier by 7. They beat Georgetown by 22, and then they just beat Butler by 22. So they're playing pretty good.
The Butler win is impressive because it's on the road.
Yeah, the other two. The other one was not that Xavier's great or anything, obviously, but they did win at Xavier. Yeah. Georgetown game's just scrimmage.
That is true. Poor Ed Cooley.
Fuck Ed Cooley.
Why did he go there?
Don't do poor Ed Cooley. That dumb son of a bitch. I fucking hate Ed Cooley.
Why? I like Ed Cooley.
I always loved him when he was at Providence, but he's a fucking traitor. That was Benedict Arnold shit going to Georgetown, leaving to Georgetown. And me and you had this argument. I get 100% where you're coming from with it, where it's like they have more money, whatever. He made more money there for sure. I just think the Georgetown and the brand and everything is just fucking dead. Georgetown is never coming back from the dead.
I disagree. I don't care. I think Ed Cooley's going to turn them around.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
See.
I will say it's taken a very
horrible,
very rocky start with having the ability to go get transfers and shit. But I still I will say it is
he
weird.
Definitely can. I mean, look, he built a great program at Providence, right?
Yeah.
So he definitely can do it. He's capable of doing it. I think he's a great coach. Leaving, it's just so weird to me, and I get that he made a little bit more money there. I think, though, the thing that really threw the Providence people out, and I could be wrong about this, is when he took that, I think Providence was, willing to, match the deal. Like, they were going to find a way to pay him what he was making at Georgetown, and he still left, and that's just, the ultimate disrespectful move where it's like, but he's probably with you. He just thinks the brand of Georgetown, but I don't know, man. Not that
Wait,
Patrick,
so they actually did match his salary?
I think they would have. I think Providence was going to, if it was going to be an extra $1 million a year he was making at Georgetown, I don't know what it was. But I thought that there were talks about them trying to do that, and he was going to leave anyway.
I didn't know that. I didn't know.
Because if you're Providence, look, it's not like it's a school that's loaded, but I guarantee you they have enough money there that it's like, this is the only program that we care about. We got to find a way to pay Ed Cooley. We go to the tournament pretty much every year.
They do fill up that stadium, that arena too. I will say, they have a very good home court.
Donut arena, yeah.
Yes, it's that's not an easy place to play. But yeah, it was a weird move because I feel like he probably could have gotten a better job. It was interesting, a little bit telling to me though, when you get a guy. When Ed Cooley leaves and goes to Georgetown, a lot of times you get a player to go with you to that school. And you had Bryce Hopkins and Devin Carter, who are both NBA level players, and both of them stayed at Providence.
Yeah, I think it was just, it rubbed,
everybody the
wrong way.
Yeah.
It was one of those moves where it's like,
is that Big Dog?
Big Dog's checking in. He's not gonna. He's not gonna be on the podcast this week, but he said he will be back next week.
Hold on.
Let me see what he wrote here. It popped up real quick, but
why he said Dylan is just black and white. I'm back next week. That's what he said. Hold on.
Okay.
Wait a second. Why is he not here though?
Guys, Big Dog likes to talk a big game, but the reality of the situation is the little general, Miss Lieck, runs the house at home. Okay? She runs a tight ship around there, a tight but fair ship.
There you go. Nice save.
Okay? Yes, of course. But yeah, Big Dog, she put the muzzle on him. When you get out there in public and start talking about midget wrestling, midget tossing, sometimes the wife has to reel you back in. And so Big Dog's on a week suspension. We might have him back next week. We don't know. He claims he's coming back next week. That's to be announced. The little general will have the final say on that.
Did he play golf with us before last show or after last show?
No, it was before.
Before last show?
We talked about it a little bit.
We did? Okay, yeah.
He's going to the senior tour when he gets his irons figured out.
Yeah, when he gets his, because he could drive the ball 400 yards. I mean, it's impressive, At 60 years old. He says he should be driving at 120, but
my age should be driving
120.
My age, I should be driving at 120. I'm driving at
340.
280 right down the middle.
Yeah, he's
But yes, he is on a week suspension.
Mom did not like the midget talk, I will say. I mean, she asked me later that day if he behaved himself on the show, and I had to be honest.
Dylan ratted him out.
I am no rat. I am not a rat.
Out.
I didn't rat him out.
The bus.
She wanted me to edit the shit out. I'm like, look, I'm not fucking spending more time editing this shit out for what he wants to say. He's an adult. He's a grown man. This man's 63 years old, all right? He knows exactly what he's fucking saying. He wants that on there. So, no, I'm not going to sit there and edit that shit out. So, I get to be the bad guy now because I'm leaving that shit in there. And then I don't, Turner's the one egging him on every fucking second, so...
It's called show business.
Oh, right? yeah.
You got to tee up Big Dog when he needs to make his brain works so fast that he'll tell you that he just forgets about things. You have to tee him up and remind him about certain things. Here's ESPN News. The college football playoff unanimously approves the 5+7 model for the new 12-team playoff.
Okay, hold on. My question about that, and real quick,
it just popped up.
I'm curious about that. So, my understanding was before they were going to have the 5 auto bids be the winners of the Power 5 conferences, and then there was going to be 7 at-large bids, with only one being a non-Power 5 automatic qualifier. However, the Pac-12 has disbanded. So how is the model still that? That's what I don't understand. What is the 5th auto bid then? There's not another power conference. There's no Pac-12. Big Ten, SEC,
here it says
ACC and
the 5 school conference decades. We don't think that because of the musical chairs that the 2 remaining schools in the Pac-12 should be penalized. So does that mean one of the 2 Pac-12?
Are you shitting me?
I don't know.
Is that real?
That's what it says here.
No fucking way.
That isn't. No, I don't think that necessarily means.
We're going to have 2-8 Oregon State in the fucking playoff?
No. Yeah, I don't. This is too much. We'll have to read this and get back to it. It's too much to. I don't think they're going to get automatic bids, but what they're saying is they can't, they're going to, I think it's what it's saying is they're going to have voting power for certain things. I don't think, so they're not penalizing them for other teams leaving.
5th spot.
Yeah.
I guess you could just change it and say, okay, it's a 4 auto bid, and then you get the 8.
Oh, here we go. Yeah, and they're still calling it the 5+7, but obviously it's not the 5+7.
It's got to be 4+8.
Yeah, but basically maybe they're just calling it the 5+7 to recognize 2 Pac-12 schools that got fucked. I mean, I don't know, and saying they have certain voting rights, but obviously the winner of those 2 schools is not going to the college football playoff.
That'd be funny,
so
though.
It would be hysterical. Everybody wants to join, so everybody's in line now to join the Pac-12. All the other bad teams from different conferences.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, you'll see South Florida put in a bid to be in the Pac-12 and fly out there to have a chance to get in.
Yeah, I want to go back to college basketball real quick. So did you see? We'll talk about the brawl in a second, but did you see the Rick Pitino interview that he did that people are talking about, where he basically shit on his entire team?
Yeah,
and he said that they basically called the white kids slow, and that the black kids were stupid, and that they couldn't learn how to throw a bounce pass. He's like, it's taken us 4 weeks to be able to learn how to throw a bounce pass. And I mean, people are like, man, if I was a player for him, I wouldn't even play for him anymore. Now, I'm sure some of those radio clips that I heard were taken a little bit out of context.
Probably, but Rick Pitino's, listen, what he said, I don't necessarily have he kind of calls it how he sees it, and he's always been that guy, but he's also a fucking sleazeball. So it's like, he always has been. I mean, I think, the story is he impregnated a waitress on an Italian food table in Louisville.
Is that true?
Yes. Yeah, that's true.
What a
I don't
legend.
know if it was actually on the table, but that's he definitely had a child while he was married with this waitress in Louisville.
What a fucking legend.
Allegedly. Before that gets to Rick and we lose the show real quick with 1,500 subscribers.
He said, it's not the job. You could be at Missouri and recruit slow players. Believe me, it's not St. John's. We had to put together a team last second. We will never, never do that again. So, I mean, how could you come out and say that with 8 games left or 6 games left? What the fuck are you doing?
He's trying to motivate his guys. That's old school.
I'm actually
tell
them
how no good they are.
He was like, I am not always calm, and certainly not when I rip someone. I was not ripping anybody. I sometimes want my players to hear my words and read my words. That was my intention Sunday. He's standing by it. He won't take it back. But one other thing, dude, we have to talk about this, and I'll put the video up there when we're talking about this when I'm editing it. But how about Incarnate Word, our very hometown Incarnate Word Cardinals, the pride of San Antonio, really, really showing off their true colors last night, getting into a backyard brawl with Texas A&M Corpus Christi. Look,
no, Texas A&M Commerce, but yeah, close.
Oh,
same
Commerce?
thing. Yeah, Commerce.
Oh, it's Commerce. Oh, okay. I was about to say something along the lines of like how you don't want to get into brawls with anyone from Corpus, but I guess if it was Commerce,
salt of their salt dogs down there in Corpus. You know,
was probably pretty even. Then I would think. Don't you think that's like in terms of the type of kids? I think it's pretty even.
Yeah,
you know, Commerce versus UIW. I don't think there's an advantage physically in a fight. I will say, man, I have never seen a fight where there were so many coaches trying to hold back players and it still fucking didn't work. Like this one dude for UIW, he was not going to be denied. And what was so fucking funny about it, and it's not funny because the guy got really fucked up, but he was trying so hard to get to one of the guys on Commerce, and this one manager just was trying to stop him, and he takes him down. The guy gets up, he hits him in the face trying to get away. The guy was knocked out unconscious. He was bleeding down his face. It was his own fucking manager, and he never got to the kid from Commerce to like actually fight him. So he like probably broke this guy's face. I didn't know if this is actually...
he makes contact with the man, like his own manager, right?
Back to back.
Friendly fire is always the toughest of that. You got to let him go. Trying to hold him back, you're only going to get yourself hit, right?
Just let it go at that point.
Well, at that point, if the guy hits me in the face trying to get to him, be like, go ahead, buddy, knock yourself out. I'm done with this.
They knocked over a kid, supposedly, according to the commentators, they knocked over a little girl. I don't know if that's true. Like, did y'all
heard the commentator
audio?
saying that, oh, no, he ran over. Like, yeah, hopefully no one was actually hurt in the stands.
Somebody was like, one of the commentators was like, it looks like a little girl was run over. And then the guy's like, well, manager here has a bloody face. Literally, it was like watching like one of those like old skit comedies where like somebody gets knocked out and you just see like 4 or 5 people pick him up and then like stretcher him off like really quickly. That's what the manager looked like, because after he got knocked out, without hesitation, 5 dudes pick him up and carry his body like off the court.
Someone actually got knocked out in it?
Yes.
Oh man.
Dude, it was
I saw it, but
awesome.
it was such a cluster out there that I was like, I didn't. So who got knocked out? Incarnate Word guy?
I slowed it down and watched like specific people. Like,
so who got knocked out?
No, it was the manager. The manager who was trying to stop the guy who was bowling over. Like, so like the fight had kind of broken up.
Yeah.
They had like somewhat divided.
I saw the guy running and like some guy trying to hold him.
So when he like ran back through to go get to somebody, runs over the manager gets up, gets hit in the face again. Right there, the camera kind of moves. He gets knocked out, and all you see is like 4 dudes pick his body up and walk him out.
Jeez, poor bastard.
It was actually fucking hilarious. God. I mean, this was such a shit
show. I was a manager, I'd be so fucking pissed.
This was, what's crazy is it's probably like I have a buddy who watches the show, Michael Freitas. He's a Michigan fan and Miami Dolphins fan.
Yeah.
And he's the team manager over at UTSA. And
God bless his heart.
Well, he was the manager at Smithson Valley for us. And he did cool. And he's just like the best. He's the best dude, but he's also just like the best. He made my life so much fucking easier. I was about
to say. So he's used to working for losing programs.
There you go. Hold on. When I was there, we were not. When I was there, we were a winning program. Yeah. Now I don't know. Actually, now I do know. It is not anymore. But yeah, I was thinking like, man, what if that was Mike getting run over?
Yeah, no,
right
I
now?
remember. So I remember you telling me this about your buddy being the team manager, and I was like, "Isn't it Incarnate Word?" Or I couldn't remember if it was UTSA or Incarnate Word. Yeah. So you settled it there, but I was looking up.
We should have gone. By the way, sorry, we should have gone to the UTSA FAU game. Mike could have got us tickets, and apparently front row tickets are like $20.
We can, if you want to go tomorrow. Let me tell you.
They play tomorrow?
I think they play tomorrow, and my niece has got a dance recital at halftime at the game.
Let's fucking go.
She's got a performance. She was showing me the moves, ready. She's locked in, ready to go. She was talking like there was going to be a lot of people there. I was like, Maddie, there might be more people at the Bernie High School game than at the UTSA game. Yeah.
Might. There's going to be.
For sure.
Playoffs starting now.
She's ready. I think like in her mind, because she's like 8, she envisions like going out there in front of a Spurs crowd. She's going to get there and be like, what the fuck is this? I haven't been preparing for months to come out here and to perform against 12 people.
There's going to be, that's so accurate. The over under, well, how many kids are performing in the recital?
But it's the dance thing. I don't know, maybe like 20 of them. I would say.
So
Yeah,
let's say
you get all the parents.
That's
there.
what I'm saying. So let's say roughly 40. I'm not going to say that every single one of them is going to have both parents there, but let's say roughly on 40 people fans there. Take those 40 fans out, minus them. The over under at that game is 17.5 people. So we're at 57
Did
and a
you
half.
see, speaking of something hilarious with college basketball, did you see that Detroit Mercy won their first game and it was a one person court storm? The guys out there in front of the camera, they don't actually have people, it's just the one camera that they have recording everything, and he's out there celebrating the win. It's hysterical.
No, that was the best ever. And that guy guaranteed had a Detroit Mercy minus 6.5 ticket in his pocket. Dude, they were favored? They were laying 6 points at home on that 0-26, and they covered. They won by double digits.
All right, another college basketball. This is the Rick Patino. Back in 2003, Karen approached Patino at a restaurant. He'd been drinking at a party at the restaurant. She had him call his son and encourage him to do well in school and sports. And then the two had consensual sex in the restaurant after closing. 2 weeks, month later, Cypher called Patino and said that she was pregnant. And Rick encouraged her to get an abortion and paid the $3,000. Rick, a devout Catholic, paid $3,000 for her to get an abortion. Yeah, so that's old Slick Rick at the old Italian restaurants in Louisville.
Oh, God. It's so much better that he's Catholic. It makes it so much better. He made her get an abortion as a devout Catholic. That's legendary, bro.
Oh, Rick.
Not that I support one way or the other. I'm neutral. I will not. We don't talk politics on this show, okay?
Unless Big Dog's here and he has something to say. That's
fine. But he's, it's funny because I'm not going to say who he supports politically, but I will say that he does act a lot like Donald Trump. I will say that. There's a lot of similarities between the two. Now, I'm not going to say, I think my dad's a much better guy, deep down, but overall, in terms of the outside, I think they have a lot of similarities. Let's see. Anything else college basketball? Let's talk a little bit about, before we're going to do a game, and I want to talk I guess we could jump right into the game. We can do that. So basically, we're talking about who's going to be in the Final Four and who's going to win the national title, and we kind of discuss that each week. Both of us super high on UConn, but we're going to play a game here, and it's going to start this week, and then as we go forward, we'll be able to change and trade picks each week. So we got to flip a coin in a second, but for who picks first. But here are the rules. So we're going to each take two teams in the top 10 of the net rankings. You cannot have your number in terms of their ranking add up to less than 7. So if you pick number 1, you got to pick at least number 6 on your second pick, and we'll snake it. So if I get first pick, you get 2, and then I get the next one. So then we're going to pick 3 teams ranked 10 to 35, and you can't have a team. You have to have at least all 3 have to be from different conferences. You can't pick teams from the same conference. And then we're going to pick 2 mid-majors as our Cinderellas, and we'll have points for each. So 10 points per correct round advanced. If your top 10 team loses in the first round, you're going to lose 50 points. So if you pull a Purdue and lose, you got a big loss. Second round, minus 25. And then each team in rank 10 to 35, you're going to get bonus points for each round they advance. And then your Cinderella, you'll get bonus points. So I'll put the scoring system on the bottom there, but we'll redraft at the end of, not redraft, we'll revisit this at the end of each week on our podcast, and we'll decide, hey, do we want to switch somebody out?
So you can keep your teams
Right. And you can if you change it, you're going to have to adjust based on the new net rankings. But if you want to hold your teams, you can keep them. So
got it.
All right. So should we do am I going to flip this real coin?
Yeah, flip it.
All right. Do you want heads or tails?
Heads, of course. Heads? I'm not a loser. I don't take tails.
Tails never fails, baby. Let's see. We got heads.
I didn't even look. I already knew it was heads.
I don't win coin tosses. Neither of us usually do. I'm surprised.
Yeah, I win the ones that don't matter for anything. Yeah, I'm great at those. Oh, look, I won again.
I'm surprised that we didn't both lose that one. All right. You go ahead and steal the best team.
I'm going to take UConn because they're somehow on the net rankings, they're 4th here.
That is the most idiotic shit I've ever seen. Yeah, I'm going to write down our team.
They're number 4.
Okay, so you got number 4 UConn, which gives you the entire board open now. Okay, I get my next 2 picks. This is tough, dude, because I'm definitely not taking Purdue at 2, and I don't want to take Houston at 1, but looking at the rest of these teams, I might have to. Shit, man. I guess give me oh man. You know what? Okay, wait. I said it has to be. So if I pick
has
one,
to be at least.
I'll take. Oh man, I don't.
9 or 7? What'd you say? I can't remember.
Yeah, it's got to be 7, less than 7. I was gonna take Houston and Tennessee, but I don't know if I really like Tennessee. Alabama's an interesting one. They have some talent. You know what? Give me Houston. I hate Houston, dude. You know what? I'm going to do it. I'm going to take Purdue, actually. Give me Purdue.
Yeah, I mean, I like them better than Houston.
Purdue at number 2, and then I'm going to take Alabama at number 5. So I got Purdue and Alabama, 2 and 5. That adds up to 7. I can do that.
Okay, I'll take. I'm torn.
I mean, you basically have the whole board,
you know what?
right?
I'm gonna. Well, I can't take.
You can't take Arizona. No, you can take Arizona. You just can't take Houston.
I'm torn between Arizona and Tennessee. Man, I like how veteran Tennessee is. I'm gonna take Tennessee.
Okay, I was gonna say this. I was gonna say Tennessee has the
connect that kid.
Yeah, they have
good.
a more complete roster.
The point guard. I always forget his name. Ziegler.
But I will say this about Arizona: if there's any team where I'm like, man, if they're rolling and get hot, they'll beat anybody. That's a team who I think could beat UConn talent wise because they shoot the ball better than anybody when they're hot.
Yeah, but Tennessee. I mean, I think that they'll turn up the defensive intensity. You would think a little bit once tournament comes.
They're
around.
really good. They're really good.
They're a good, solid team. So I'll go UConn, Tennessee.
And they actually shoot the ball much better than they have in years past. So I like Tennessee. I know Bailey doesn't. Bailey's dreading that you just picked Tennessee there. He does not like that.
Well,
he watched the entire game.
If Vanderbilt played basketball like that, I'd pick Vanderbilt.
That's Jerry Stackhouse's fault.
Jerry and the boys.
Okay, all right. So I guess for this one,
now you have to pick three teams that are
10
outside
10 through 35.
Okay, and they all have to be different conferences.
Different conferences. I guess we'll
just
snake
rotate.
This
you go first.
I'll go first in this one. Okay. So I'll take. Let's see. Okay, actually, I already know who I want in this one. I'm gonna take Illinois. I think Illinois is really, really good. I think they have a chance to make a Final Four run. So Illinois is gonna be my first pick. For that, they're number 12. So Illinois, and I can no longer take a team from the Big Ten now.
And I go 2 in a row here.
Yeah, you get 2.
I am gonna go. So this can be because you took Purdue, right? So
you can have 2 in the same conference if they're from the top 10. Just can't be 3.
I'm gonna go Kansas.
I knew you're gonna go with the Jayhawks.
They're gonna get if Harris can get healthy, they could be a problem. And I'm gonna take
best starting 5 in the country.
And I'm gonna take Kentucky.
Okay, I like that because they're just if they get hot, they could be anybody. Okay.
The Blue Bloods.
So do I get 2 here?
Yeah, you get 2 in a row.
I get 2 here. Oh man, this is tough here. I can't believe. I know we were talking about this, how Vegas just stuck to their guns on St. Mary's and they were right. I just don't believe it. I can't get out of my mind what I watched at the beginning of the year when they were losing to like non-mid-major team, like low major teams. Mm-hmm. I'm not a believer in Duke. This is tough here. You know what? Give me Marquette. They're pretty veteran laden, and I think I like them better than Creighton. That's who I was between.
Yeah, they're close.
And since I'm not going to I can't take 2 from the Big East, so I got to go here. I got to go ACC, Big 12. Man, I hate Baylor. I don't want to root for Baylor, but sitting at 11, a Big 12 team, give me Baylor for that one, for my last one. I'll take Baylor. So I went Illinois, Marquette, and Baylor for my 3.
I'll take Creighton rounding up my 3.
Creighton got your 3. All right. So we've got our 5 top 35 teams. Now we got to pick our mid-major, and I can give you the list if you need.
No, I see them here, but does it matter on ranking or just mid? Let's go outside top 30 then, or what do you think?
Oh, for net ranking.
Yeah, because you have Colorado State.
It has
to
be outside the top 35. So like somebody's gonna have to win their conference tournament to get in. I think.
Okay.
I take that back because the two teams who I think could get in. I think Indiana State and Grand Canyon both could get in without winning their conference tournaments. I don't know that they will, but they could. You can still pick them. So let's make it. How about not the
no Mountain West?
Right there you go. No Mountain West and no no West Coast conference. Those two.
Yeah.
So that we don't have the St. Mary's and the Gonzaga. So it's got to be like a legit mid-major. And you get to go first here because
do I?
Because
okay,
I went
I'll
first
go.
I wonder if
I
wonder if McNeese State gets in here. They have to. I think they have to win their conference tournament. They're not a team who could lose one. Like Indiana State has some like relatively good wins on their resume. So if they were like they lost 2 in a row, so that hurts. But if they win out, they have a shot to get in still. James Madison has a shot to get in still. I think McNeese has to win their conference tournament.
Man, I know this is gonna kill you because I'm going first, but I gotta take Grand Canyon.
Fuck off! They're
1-0 in their quad win. They're 2-2 in quad 2. I mean, and like you said, it would be kind of stupid not to take them because I think they're gonna get in regardless.
They're really
good.
Even
if they lose one game, make it to the tournament championship and lose or whatever, I still think they're going to get in.
I think them and Indiana State are the two who could do that.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'm going to take. I
gotta take Indiana.
I gotta take Indiana State as 1, so like that'll be my first one. And then I'm torn here because I really like Princeton, and they've already won in the tournament.
The problem is Yale and Cornell are both really good.
They are.
Like I think Princeton's actually. I was just scrolling through. Princeton's third.
They are, but they beat Yale. They beat Yale on Saturday, and so they are only one game back.
Yeah.
Well, but the thing is they now have the conference tournament there with the top 4 teams, and Princeton was, I believe, only had 1 loss going into conference play, so they're like 7-2 in conference, but they were like 11-1 in non-conference.
The
thing is if they get in, I think they have a real good shot. They're the best team in the Ivy League. Could get. I'm not even. I heard somebody say this the other day. The Ivy League could get 2 bids. Like they're that good this year.
Yeah,
they're legitimately that good.
Well, especially with Princeton winning last year.
Yes. I'm gonna go ahead. Here's the thing. I don't want to give you this other team.
So we have yeah. So
you know what?
I
take it back.
Princeton's just 1 game out.
I'm gonna take James Madison.
Okay.
I'll take James Madison. I like Princeton a lot, but I'm gonna take James Madison here only because they beat Michigan State earlier in the year, who's going to get in the tournament. They played a couple other teams really close. I think they have a shot. I forgot about them. They have a shot to get in an at-large bid as well. I think most of those teams are going to win their conference tournaments. The one that worries me that might not is Indiana State because, crazy enough as this sounds, the Valley is a very good conference.
It's really good.
Missouri Valley.
Drake, them.
They have Bradley is really solid. They have a couple other good teams. Like even the middle of that conference isn't bad at all. Indiana State lost to Illinois State the other day. Evansville is Northern Iowa is always solid. So that conference is pretty darn good. But yeah, give me James Madison for my other one. You got one more.
I'm gonna take I will take the McNeese State Cowboys.
McNeese State. Will Wade, the FBI's favorite wiretap.
Yep.
They're legit. I didn't realize they actually lost a conference game. Southeastern Louisiana beat them a couple weeks back. But
1-0 quad 1, 2-2 quad 2.
Yeah.
2-0 quad 3. I mean, they're pretty solid. Like I think if they get in, you're gonna see them as like probably a 13.
Yeah.
And they can win. They may even have them as one of their 12s if they get in. I don't know. We'll see.
What do you think? Wait, sorry. Who was that again?
McNeese State.
Yeah. What do you think Grand Canyon is, assuming they get in?
They'll make them. I think they could even be. I think they could potentially be like a 7, which is crazy. I think they could have them. I think they could have them that high.
I think they deserve it. I don't think they'll do it, but I think they could.
Which I know that sounds crazy, but I could see them being. I mean, more than likely, I think they'll be a 10.
Yeah.
But I could see them being as high as 7 because, dude, they only have 2 losses, and I get that
What's
they're
their
not
net?
playing.
What are they in the net rankings? 46.
46. So they're further down than I thought.
But yeah. So, like, really, I think, like, top 37, I think 35 or 37 is the cutoff where, like, if you're outside the top 37 in the net, nobody has gotten in the tournament in an at-large bid the last 20 years.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So, but this is also a very different year in the sense that, like, a lot of these teams, like you look at these teams at like 37, 38, like
if they only
Villanova,
have 3 losses, like if they
Mississippi
only
State.
lose one more game,
Yeah.
like I think they're getting in no matter. I really do
I
think.
hope so.
I really do think.
Well,
with
you
only
look at
one
it
more
like
loss,
you're
they're
gonna
gonna
put
get in.
like a team like Nevada, who's 43 in over Grand Canyon, who Nevada is gonna finish like 20 and 8, and you're gonna have a Grand Canyon there that 30 and 2.
I didn't realize they were that low. I thought that. I mean, I thought they were more like 35 in the deal. So there's no way they'll be a 7, but maybe they'll. Yeah. Potentially a 10 if they run the table, something like that. I don't know.
There's going to be a lot of really good teams left out this year because the committee's going to have a different job.
That's
than
like
they've
Providence, man. That's what I said. I know you think they're in because they're Big East, but they have them at 60 net ranking.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I was like, I don't think they're. And you know why though? Is because the injuries, right? Because you said they've had they're banged
they
up.
lost Hopkins, their best player.
Yeah, so that's the deal. I mean, they take that into consideration.
Well, dude, look at this. You have South Carolina, who was just ranked number 11 in the country. They're 59.
Yeah.
What if they wouldn't get in?
See, that's why I don't know.
I agree. I don't like the net ranking.
I think that I think
agree.
South Carolina, as long as they don't just,
Ole Miss is 65.
Shit the bed. I don't think they're going to put Ole Miss in. I think they're going to
right now. They're last 4 in, according to Lenardi.
I think they're going to be an NIT team, but they might, depending on what they do. Obviously, the rest of the season.
Well, part of this bothers me too, and I get that it has to do with like overall record and shit. But like you look at St. John's. St. John's is 14 and 12. They're 2 and 6 versus quad 1. 2 and 9 versus quad 1. They're 51. And then you have South Carolina, who is 3 and 3 versus quad 1, 4 and 0 versus quad 2. They're 21 and 5, and they play in a better conference, and they are 59. That makes zero sense. Like, how does that? I don't know what these numbers take into account. Is it just the quad wins? Because if it is, that makes no sense. Like, South Carolina has 2 quad 3 losses. Other than that, like, there's no way they should be at least in the top 35. I don't understand that. They have a chance to win the fucking SEC regular season. They legitimately have a chance to win the SEC regular season and not make an at-large bid.
Where did they have him at? South Carolina at
50-9.
Oh, so Ken Palm. I'm just looking because I just got on Ken Palm. I was just curious. They have
Palm,
54.
Oh, I was gonna say 44.
And then
Ken Palm to me is more accurate, but I still don't love it because they still have Houston at number 1.
Yeah, Ken Palm always says Houston at number 1.
Yeah, because they take into account offensive rebounding as a very heavy factor.
Yeah, Houston's been number 1 in Ken Palm's rankings for years, it seems like.
And then they lose in the 3rd round
always.
every year. I think they went to one Final Four.
They got Iowa. So Ken Palm I agree with a little bit more than the other one, too. They got Connecticut. Obviously ahead of Purdue. So it's Houston 1, which you figured they'd be there. Connecticut 2, Purdue 3, Arizona 4.
That's more realistic.
Tennessee 5, which I agree with. Then they have Auburn 1 tick ahead of Alabama, which I get that Alabama's talented. I mean, you could interchange them,
those
but I mean,
go either way.
Auburn's just really good at home, obviously, even though they just lost to Kentucky.
They never lose at home.
Iowa State, which is no surprise, number 8.
I have Iowa State higher
really
than a lot
of
people.
Illinois is really good. That was a
Illinois
good pick by you. I like Illinois. I'm always high on them.
The other team I think I really like, and I said this already, is I like Nebraska a lot. I don't know what ranking they are at, but I think they're going to get 40. In. Yeah, they're going to get in. And I like them a lot. Obviously, too, like, you think about some of these net rankings, like, there's still 5 games left plus conference tournament. A lot of these things change, like, daily, so that's why.
Ken Palm obviously loves the Big 12. I mean, they have Oklahoma at 37 in here.
Yeah, that's just
37. Cincinnati 36. TCU 32. Texas 29.
Yeah, I saw that. That's crazy. Texas 29 is wild.
Here's my thing though. I think if you actually, that's why I do attend to. I like Ken Palm typically for some things. Obviously, like some things are skewed, but like Texas, when you really look at them, I mean, like, are you telling me? I don't necessarily believe, like, if Texas is playing their best, that there's, like, I think they're actually, I know this is going to sound crazy to you because you're a Texas fan, and their coach is terrible, but, like, on paper, I don't think there's 29 better teams in Texas in the country.
Talent-wise,
yeah, that's what I mean. So Ken Palm, I think, takes, obviously some of that and, obviously all kinds of advanced metrics into it, but I just think that,
they're
do
probably
I actually
like 20th
think that,
or 15th in terms of talent.
Yeah, and I just don't think, of course, and I think it takes that in the, I think Texas should be, obviously it depends what they do, but I think they should be a tournament team.
Yeah, I think they should too.
I mean, I don't know. I got to go look at the Big 12 rankings now and see what. I mean, I know they're not playing
they're
great.
They're like 6th, 7th, or 8th. They won last night against Kansas State.
I mean, dude, look, they're 6 and 7 in the Big 12. If you go one game under in the Big 12,
yeah, you should get in.
Texas, you should get in. I mean, Texas is better in Oklahoma. They're better in Cincinnati.
They are. But Oklahoma's, are they ranked high? No, they're below them, but they have a higher conference record. They have a better conference record, Oklahoma.
But to put it, no, it's the same. But to put it in perspective,
is it really?
Yeah, they're both 6 and 7 now after Oklahoma lost.
Oklahoma's dropped a lot lately.
But to put it in perspective, so BYU and that net rankings that we had, that we were just looking at,
10th.
They were 10, which I think they do have some good upside. I think I said that last episode. I think that's too high. Texas, BYU's 18 and 7. Texas is 17 and 9. And Texas has the same record as BYU in the conference, except it's a half game. One loss,
right.
One loss. So, I mean, I think Texas is gonna end up being in the tournament.
No, they're gonna be. Last night was a huge game for them. They played Kansas State at home.
Yeah, you couldn't
lose that one.
Yeah.
So they ended up pulling it out. It was kind of tight for a while, but they won. Yeah, that was a big win for them.
I don't know though. I think obviously you're gonna end up getting 8 locks in the Big 12. I think you get Houston, Iowa State, Baylor, Kansas, TCU, Texas Tech, BYU, Texas. Man, I don't think after watching Oklahoma play at home against Kansas, they played okay in the first half. I don't think they might end up getting in when it's all said and done. I know they're 18 and 8 here. I think they probably will, but they're right there. I think they probably will, but I don't think Cincinnati or Kansas State are getting in.
It's going to be interesting.
I think it's going to be 9.
You look at the rest of Oklahoma's schedule. This game on Saturday that they play, it's kind of their season. They play at Oklahoma State. They can't lose that. They cannot lose that. So they're on the road. Then they go at Iowa State versus Houston versus Cincinnati at Texas. I think if they win the games they're supposed to in that stretch, if they win at Okie State, hold serve at home against Cincinnati, and at least win one of the other 3, either pull off an upset at home against Houston, you're not winning at Iowa State.
Oh, they'll for sure be in, because then they'll finish with a 500 record.
Right, but I think even if they go 2 and 3, what do you? I still think they might. I still
think they might get them in as like the last 4 in or something.
Where are they right now? Well, the thing about it is, dude,
7.
you look at the bottom of the Big 12. Okay, West Virginia's out for sure. Okie State's out. Central Florida's out. Kansas State is now out.
They're out.
And so you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 if you include Cincinnati who have a shot. I think Cincinnati misses. I think there's no, to me, I think they have to get 9 because you're going to put like 10 SEC teams in. There's more teams in the SEC, but I think it would be hard for me to believe that they leave Oklahoma out and put in like the 9th or 10th best team in the SEC and leave the 9th or 10th best team in the Big 12 out.
If Oklahoma
just don't think that would happen.
Ends the season 2 and 3, I would say they probably get in. They
can't go 1 and 4. I'll say that they go 1 and 4, they're out.
You can't finish 3 games below 500.
Well, and you also have to take into account the fact that there's going to be a Big 12 tournament after this. And so every game you play in the Big 12 tournament after the first round is going to be a quad 1 game. So, like, you're going to play against on a neutral floor, it's going to be a top 35 team. I'm sorry, top 50 team.
I think ultimately they get 9. And I think you're right.
Beat Providence, beat USC. Oh, USC sucks, but beat Iowa, beat Providence. They have a win over Iowa State. That's a huge win. They beat, who else did they beat? Let's see. Beat Kansas State. Beat one against BYU.
Yeah, I think they'll get in. I don't think Cincinnati or K-State get in, but I think the Big 12 will be a 9-teamer.
Yeah.
You might have Oklahoma playing in that first 4 game, but you're right. When you put it in, like, okay, they're going to put 10 SEC teams in, so how can you not put 9 Big 12 teams in?
You just got to put in that many. It's just they're just too good of a conference.
Man, it's crazy, though. Like, some people, like you said, there's going to be a lot of good teams left out because it's like, then you look at the Mountain West and you think there's probably 4 teams in the Mountain West getting in.
Yep.
There's like Colorado State. Usually there's 2.
Colorado State, San Diego State,
Utah State,
and is there one other team?
I think.
Oh, New Mexico.
New Mexico are in, and then Boise State's a fringe team.
State.
I don't think
Nevada's
Boise State's.
out.
I don't think Boise State ends up getting
Boise
in,
State
maybe.
might be one of those first 4. It depends. It depends on how they finish the season.
I didn't realize how good Washington State was this year.
They're like the number 1. I think they're first place in the Pac-12.
They're half game behind Arizona.
Half game behind Arizona. Yeah, they're. Man, talk about a bad conference though. That conference, man, is the Pac-12 had a resurgence in football the last year. They have not had it in basketball.
Man, I don't know. Looking at the SEC, okay, Alabama's
I know
in,
I am wrong. That's what I heard
Tennessee's
somebody
in.
say the other day.
Yeah, they're dead wrong. Auburn's in. South Carolina
Wait,
is in. Florida's in. Kentucky's in.
Alabama,
Mississippi State, and A&M are probably in. Those are 8. And then you have Ole Miss.
I think Ole Miss gets in.
Ole Miss potentially getting in. So you'd say
LSU,
like
Georgia, Arkansas, Vandy, Missouri, all out. Sorry, Bailey. Vandy has no shot. I don't even think.
But not even Bailey's that delusional, Dylan. He knows.
Yeah, he knew. Yeah, he knew right after the Presbyterian loss that the season was over. Yeah, no, you're right. I think probably 8 get in.
I mean,
maybe I was thinking of.
Said
I wonder if I was thinking of the Big Ten. How many Big Ten teams are going to get in here? Let's look. Big Ten. Okay, so we got Purdue's in, Illinois is in, Northwestern's in, Wisconsin is in, Michigan State is in, Nebraska's in. No, there's not. That's 6.
Yeah, someone was just probably talking out of their ass. There's no way 10 big.
Because Minnesota might get in.
Maybe it's the Bill Walton of the SEC
Bill Walton,
talking about. We got 10 teams getting in the SEC this year.
I will say, I will say, the ACC is going to get. They should not get more than 4. I think they should get 3 or 4. Like Wake Forest is borderline. UNC, Duke, and Virginia are all in. Wake Forest is borderline. Clemson and NC State are borderline. Pittsburgh should not be in. I'm sorry. They played nobody. They were horrible. And then they're just having a resurgence in conference. Like they should, if they put Pittsburgh in, I'm going to be disgusted.
Yeah, I mean, absolute best case, looking at the Big Ten end, they get 7.
Yeah.
Best case scenario. And Minnesota's going to be, it all depends on what happens down the stretch. They're not very fucking good. That shows you how bad that shows you how bad that league is this year. That Minnesota's 7-7.
This is what I'm talking about, though, dude. You look at like some of these other leagues, like the Ivy League, where you have 19-3 Princeton, 19-4 Cornell, 17-7 Yale is like whatever. Like I think Cornell and Princeton could both get in. They should.
I think Cornell and Princeton would both beat Minnesota on a
They
neutral
would.
floor. I'd tell you that for sure.
That's the crazy thing about it is, a lot of these teams you would get like, dude, to me, and the Missouri Valley is probably like the 6th best conference in the. I think the Missouri Valley is better than the Pac-12 minus Arizona.
Where did that guy? Did the Gauchos coach leave? He must have because they're 7 and 8 this year.
I think he stayed, dude.
Oh man, they're having a down year.
He's really good too.
Yeah, he's a good coach. I figured someone would have hired that guy by now.
No, he's still there. I'm shocked he didn't get a job after last tournament where they went to the tournament and played Baylor relatively close till the end.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I thought he would have for sure got something. And they've been good like 3 years in a row.
Yeah, and sometimes they stay too long. Like that's your opportunity. Go. If you have a job you can take, go. Also, maybe he just didn't. Maybe there wasn't a lot of options that year. Like it depends, like regionally too. Like if he's more of a California guy, then he probably has to wait for one. I mean, here's an opportunity. USC is gonna open this year. I can almost guarantee you that. I'm surprised. Speaking of midseason firings, how the fuck they haven't fired Andy Enfield and USC is beyond me. The guy's horrific.
Yeah, big time underachieving.
I have a dumbass of the week, and I think it's good. Maybe like one of our last topics here as we're getting her. So my dumbass of the week is the PGA Tour. Jordan Spieth gets DQ'd from the Genesis Invitational for signing an incorrect scorecard. This is the most backwards shit. The PGA is living in the fucking 1700s. Why in the world do we have to sign a fucking scorecard? I mean, imagine if in the NBA you had to sit there and every time you score, I got to do a tally how many points I scored. After the game, I got to go in a little fucking room and sign my sheet. And if I fuck it up and I scored less or more points than this, then my points don't count. We lose the game and I'm disqualified. What the fuck? That's the stupidest shit I've ever heard in my entire life. Like, I don't understand. Every single shot is tracked. There are cameras on these guys. No one's trying to cheat.
You know what's funny about it too? Someone made a good point because I was listening to this the other day, and I'm a big golf guy when it comes to the PGA Tour and whatever. They said that so in the actual reality of it, the rule needs to be in place, but not on the PGA Tour level. right? Because it's like, so when you're golfing and say you're golfing in some amateur deal or you're trying to qualify for the U.S. Open where cameras aren't on you all the time, or you have an official scorer that's tracking where every single one of your shots went on Shot Tracker, right? So it's like they obviously know what you made. So like that's where it's ridiculous. And it's like if you want to keep the tradition in it, that's fine. You can have people sign scorecards. But if you make a mistake, it should just be a 2-stroke penalty, and they'll get it. I honestly think that a lot of golf traditionalists don't think it'll be changed. I actually do in the next 2 years because it's really like if we lived in the world where there weren't official scorers walking with groups, like our cameras everywhere, it'd be different. But literally you can get on the PGA Tour app and you can follow where Jordan Spieth hit his ball on every single hole. And there's an official scorer that walks with the group that puts in the scorer's shot link to load them up online. So he knew what he made. And you just go through the formalities of signing your card because it's almost like a tradition thing. Now, like I said, it's definitely needed on other levels of golf. You have to have that. But when you get to the PGA Tour, it's like, okay, well, we're not keeping stats by hand here anymore. It's all logged in the computer. Like they have the most extensive database of stats of any sport ever. It's like your percentage of greens and regulations hit on par 4s when the wind's over 20 miles an hour. Like they can tell you that.
It's
like
crazy, dude.
For the last 5 years. Like,
but if I mark a 3 instead of a 4, I'm disqualified.
It's stupid. And Spieth knows the rule. Like, sure, he was upset about it, but he would be the first one to tell you, and he did say it. Like, look, I fucked up. That should never happen. But you're right. They need to get rid of it. It is stupid. I mean, there's idiotic. And you're just getting rid of a guy that people want to tune in to see.
You want your biggest stars not playing in tournaments? I mean, what in the world? I understand it rarely happens.
It's something that'll be fixed in the next year. Like they'll keep it for certain, whatever, and you may get docked a shot or two going forward for signing wrong. But the funniest thing is, I don't know if you know this, that like in golf, when you're playing with someone else is keeping your score.
Okay, yeah.
So like whoever was in his group is writing the scores down.
So the person who made it, who was with him, actually fucked it up and he didn't catch it.
So the way it works is, if I'm playing with you, I keep your official score.
Right.
And then you keep your score below it. Like that, what you had for yourself, and then you match up all the numbers and say everything matches, and they just went through the motions. He probably made I don't know what happened, but he was trying to get off the course, signed his card, and turned it in, and realized, oh shit, they put me down for a 3 when I made a 4,
right?
And and whatever,
right?
But even what's even crazier about it is if you sign for, and I'm 99% on this, say he made a 4 and he signed for a 5, so he docked himself a shot, you still get DQ'd. Because you signed a wrong scorecard.
That's the stupidest
shit
I've ever.
It's like, but that's the deal. So people were like, and I was reading online, like someone was saying, no, still signed for the wrong score. You still disqualified.
So dumb.
So it's like, even if you lost a shot by your own stupidity, signing a wrong card, you'd still get disqualified. Unless they change that rule, but that used to be the rule. So, but yeah, I think in the next couple years, you'll see that change for sure, especially with all the technology we have.
Yeah, no shit. I wanted to mention one more thing. We got I'm gonna do a preview of it later today at my house, but we got a UIL boys basketball playoffs on right now here in San Antonio, high school basketball. Where the first round started yesterday. They do it over like Monday, Tuesday is the first round. Usually most of the second round games will be on Friday. We'll have the third round next Tuesday, and then by next Friday, we'll be in the regional tournament, which is basically the Sweet 16. We get down to the Elite 8 and then the Final 4.
Who does Heights play?
Heights won last night. Because Heights won their district, they got to play a bad Valley school. So they played. It was I think it was Eagle Pass. Eagle Pass. They won by 30. And actually, Champion plays tonight against Cedar Park in Buda, and the winner of that will take on Heights. So if Bernie Champion wins tonight, they will play Alamo Heights in the second round, which would be good. I would love to go to that in the second round.
Yeah, I was just looking. Bernie played Cuero in the first round and beat him 71-34.
Yeah, it's interesting. Some of the matchups you get in the first round, sometimes they sometimes the first round is actually the hardest, and sometimes it's just a blowout. Like, it just depends. Like, for example, I was watching Piper play against Rouse last night, and Rouse is like the second best team in the region behind Veterans Memorial. and it was like a 6-point game in the third, like late third quarter. And I'm like, Rouse is like 30-2, and Piper's fucking horrible.
And as we know, high school basketball can just be crazy. There's no fucking shot clock.
No shot clock.
You can see a score that the game ends 18-14.
Yeah.
If someone's like, hey, we're not near as good as them, we're going to throw the ball around for as much as we could. Like I've told June, I think I've talked about it when back in the day, my high school, we were playing, I forgot who we were playing, but the team was like, my buddies were playing, the team we were playing was far inferior, and they, the old high school held the ball, and I think the final score was like 22-17 at the end of the game. I mean, I almost held it for the entirety of the first quarter.
And I've seen teams do that. When I was in high school at Alamo Heights, when we played Bernie Champion at home, we were playing against they were the best team in the. This was when I was a sophomore. I was on JV, and so the varsity was playing against Champion. Champion was by far the best team in the region.
Oh, actually, they were good, huh?
Really? I'm sorry. I said Champion. Tyvee. Well, Champion was the year before, actually. When I was a freshman, Champion went to the state tournament. But when I was a sophomore, it was Tyvee. Tyvee had this kid named Jonathan Perry. Really, really good. They had their starting five was a very, very mature, good high school starting five. Anyway, we were playing them at home. Crazy environment. And I believe we were down 2 in the second quarter. And Tyvee, because we were sitting in the zone, decided, hey, we're just going to hold the ball and make Heights come out. And Charlie Boggess was like, all right, leave it. We'll play the second half. And they held the ball for 6 minutes right there, which for them made no sense. They just didn't want to play against the zone because they were having trouble scoring against it. But for us, it was like, well, if you're going to shorten the game and make this into 2-quarter game when it's a 2-point game, we'll do it. And so literally he held the ball for 6 minutes.
They got to fucking fix it.
And here's the thing. So I agree. So when I was coaching for the most part, I didn't want this to be implemented. I did not want a shot clock, mainly because at the place I was at, I knew that a shot clock would not benefit me. Like having a shot clock for a team that needs to run offense and be patient is not necessarily a good thing, right? But the more I watch it, the more I think we need a shot clock. It doesn't even have to be. It could be 40 seconds.
That's what I was about to say.
It
Just
could
make
be
it.
It could be 35 seconds like the old college rules, or 40 seconds.
40 seconds. Who cares?
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But you need something to where they can't just hold the ball. And like that's the frustrating part. When you have a team who's up 6 with 3 minutes to go, and you got to start fouling with like 2 minutes because you're down. Like,
and then the guys who say no, like you just got to get a steal, but it's ridiculous. I mean, it's Stone Age basketball. Like I don't care. It's at this point, just take the 3-point line away from the kids too, and just play out there. I mean, it's like
Well,
it's like
and I think the
1900s basketball.
To me, I think before there was a strong thing against it because of kind of like the thing we're talking about with golf. Like traditionally, like high school basketball has never had a shot clock, so that was the old view. I think most people now actually want it. I would say probably 90% of people are just like either one or they're indifferent. They're like whatever at this point. I think the main issue, and I've said this
is the money, right?
Is that because
it costs money to put the clocks,
and it's not just the money; it's the money and the fact that so right now, in order to run a gym, right, in order to run a game, I need a guide, somebody doing the book that costs money per game, and I need someone doing the scoreboard. Some places need. When I was at Heights, they used to pay for the clock, the scoreboard, and the books. There was 3 people, but most places can do each. Well, now you got to pay probably an extra person to do the shot clock. And you got to implement the shot clock. So you think about it. Okay, we have these small 1A, 2A schools in West and East Texas. And it's like, how are they going to be able to afford, A, putting a shot clock in, B, paying somebody to be there? So it's not just the equipment, it's the labor. It's, and then you also add the fact that, like, you put another burden on the officials. And look, I had some very nice people who were officials who I liked. Roland, I don't know if he ever will watch this podcast, but there's a guy, Roland was one of my favorite officials. We were good buddies. There's a couple good officials out there, but for the most part, fuck officials. For the most part, I fucking can't stand them. And you already have enough on their fucking plate trying to just call a high school basketball game relatively fair and equal and be half fucking decent. They don't enforce hand checks ever if they, I can go on. They're horrible. But you add having to fucking look at a shot clock and determine that.
Agreed.
Shot clock violation. We can't review it. It's not college. So it's a lot to put on the officials too. So I think those issues are what's preventing it from getting passed. I think what we might see is it happen at the 5A and the 6A level and not happen at the lower levels yet. Because it's just some of those 2A, 1A schools, I don't think that they're going to be feasibly able to have a shot clock, run a shot clock, and do that.
Yeah, no, it definitely makes sense. Yeah, I would agree. Yeah, giving the refs something else to look at is probably a bad idea. But, yeah, just getting rid of the hold the ball. I mean, you could even do something, and I mean, this may sound stupid to some people, but it's like have a clock where a clock operator could literally run it where it's like, hey, you have one, like you could even start a minute clock. And if you don't, doesn't matter how many times the ball hits the rim, if you don't score in that one possession or whatever, it's just a turnover or something. I mean, I don't know. There's plenty of ways to do it, but yeah, I think it's stupid that, you know, you could get a playoff game potentially where a really good, and you know, the good team should still find a way to win. I get it, but like just holding the ball for 6 minutes is not basketball. So.
No, it's not. It's really, really stupid.
Yeah.
I just saw, dude, crazy. I want to talk. I forgot I have one more thing I want to talk about. But I saw East Central was in 4th place in their district. Them and Steele, this is ridiculous. It's a 6-team district, so obviously 4 teams have to get in.
Yeah.
But Steele and East Central were tied. They were each 3-7 in their district, and one of them they had to play a play-in game.
Yeah, someone had to get in.
It's ridiculous. So East Central won that play-in game. Played Reagan last night, who won their district and beat them by 34. East Central beat Reagan by 34. How's
that even possible?
106-72.
How?
That's how bad.
Is that a wrong score? How the hell did they score 100? First of all, let me start by saying this. How the fuck do you score 106 points in an 4-quarter,
8-minute?
How's that fucking possible? The fuck is this? Did they just let them score? Like, no, I'm not even like joking when I say that. To score 106 points in 8-minute quarter high school basketball. Literally, like, if Reagan had a possession, I'm not even making this up. If Reagan had a normal high school basketball possession and took 20 seconds off the clock, 15 seconds off the clock, and then you let East Central just go lay the ball up, I don't know what the math is on that, but I don't even know if you get to 106.
I legitimately don't know.
That's the dumbest that's got to be a fucking error.
Well, dude, look.
106 points?
Dude, Houston Yates would venture to argue with you because back when I played in high school in 2012, that Houston Yates team was beating teams like 140 to 27. I mean, They had the craziest athletes you've ever seen. They were pressing the entire game. I watched East Central play. I went to the playing game against Steele.
What was the score of that game?
Like in the fucking. It was in the 60s, I believe. Let's see. I remember because I was talking with one of my buddies, Jake Good, who played at Smith and Valley. He's about to graduate. We went to the game together, and I made the over/under in that game. After watching the first quarter, I made the over on that game 132, and I think the final score was, let's see, it was 65-55. So we hit 120 in that game.
Yeah, I have family friends that work at Reagan and somewhat of the athletics department. Yeah, I'm gonna have to talk to someone about that and say, how the fuck what was it? 100 and what?
Okay, I really want to see, because
I don't believe that shit. I just don't. I don't know how you do that. 8-minute quarters, 106.
Is this right?
There's no way that's right.
Well, it's on Max Preps and it's on the bracket too, but it does also say that they play tonight. I need to look it up. It says on here. I mean, look, I'm not making this shit up.
No, I believe you. It's probably right if it's on the bracket.
I don't know. If that actually happened, that's fucking crazy.
I just really don't even know how there's that many, legitimately, unless you're just running down the court and just throwing threes up in 10 seconds into the shot clock. There's not enough. But that's like, okay, so let's do the math on it. And so they're playing a 32-minute game, right?
Yeah.
And an NBA game is 48 minutes. So you're telling me they basically scored an NBA equivalent to like 160 points, right? I'm pretty close on that math around.
Yeah, you're right.
150 at least.
Let's see. Yeah, it'd be 2/3. Yeah, 160 points. Okay, dude, this might be ill posted.
Yeah, we'll look into it. We'll talk about it next.
Because I'm trying to look at East Central's Twitter, and it looks like they're saying it's a game day today. So I don't know. It looks like they're saying like game day today, like so like they haven't played.
Someone may have just wrote that on there to fuck with us.
That actually be really funny if somebody entered that in as the max prep score, because like if you're an official scorer, you can just do that. It's like Wikipedia.
Yeah.
But okay. Very last thing, and we'll get out of here. Actually, this has been a very good episode considering we didn't have a ton to talk about. I think we're gonna be able to fill these episodes. But.
Well, a big dog next week to talk midget wrestling.
I have to say, I think like that he is entertaining. I'm not gonna lie, but I think that we have better shows without him. I'm not gonna lie.
Well, I would never venture to say that.
You know that's the truth.
First of all, please.
And in
Big
your
Dog,
heart,
Big Dog is an absolute showman. First of all,
he's a showman.
You got to give him at least 15 minutes of camera time.
He's a fucking douchebag, is what he is.
Oh my god,
he's an absolute douchebag.
Don't listen to him, Big Dog.
Oh, he tells me you can't come over to the studio. Oh, why aren't you working on the podcast? You don't do shit. And then he doesn't let me go to the fucking studio 4 days a week. Tells me when to shoot the podcast. I'm so fucking tired of this motherfucker. I told him, fine, I'm gonna move the studio. I'm gonna move my setup to somewhere else. Fuck
you! You're not doing that.
And then he says, Dylan's black and white. You can't compromise. I'm like, compromise? You don't even let me come at night when nobody's here. Can I come shoot a video at night for a fucking betting video? Like nobody's here. I don't want my fucking lights turned on. It costs money. Ugh. Shut the fuck up, dickhead.
Oh my god, that Big Dog. Don't listen to him.
Fuck Big Dog. No, I'm serious. I'm creating some beef here.
Big
fuck
Dog's
that piece
of
shit.
Heart and soul.
And he also is afraid to play me in pickleball. He will not come out. He knows I would. He knows I would kick his fucking ass.
Your dad is one of the greatest 60-year-old athletes this world's ever seen.
He can't do anything. He was laughing the other day. He said he kept this is actually funny. So we were watching the All-Star Saturday when they were going to do the Sabrina Ionescu. My mom wanted to watch that, so we were in the game room watching. And my dad goes, "Didn't Kevin give Dylan the most improved player award?" Yeah, most improved, because he was so fucking bad in 5th grade. And I'm like, in 6th grade, I set the scoring record for points in a single quarter. I scored 21 points in a quarter in 6th grade, which is a true number if you ask anybody against Holy Spirit.
Your dad scored 36.
And then Kevin McLaughlin pulled me out of the game and didn't let me get the all-time score record. I was going to drop 50 in that game. Pulled me out. I played 2 minutes in the second quarter, did not go back in the game. Kevin, that was not cool, man. We still want you as a sponsor. All right, for real, last thing. We have the NCAA football video game got an official
release date.
We are going to have NCAA football. What is it going to be called? 25?
Yeah, 25. Yeah.
I mean, what? I am so excited. I am going to buy a PS5 just to play that fucking game.
Yeah, I'll probably come out of video game retirement for that one.
The only game I've played in the past, during COVID, I played some 2K. And since then, I had not played any video games until somebody told me that if you had PlayStation Plus, and I only have a PS4, that you could play that PGA game for free. And so I downloaded that PGA game and played a little bit, which is, pretty fun, but I'm not a video game guy anymore. When we were growing up, we used to play sports video games, NCAA football all the time. We had some battles in NCAA football. I was ranked in the top 150 in the world in NCAA 09. That is a true story. I have a screenshot of it still. Missouri, Jeremy Macklin, and Chase Daniel, nobody could stop me, baby. I remember, I think I've told you this story. Me and Carl used to play all the time online. We had our Xbox 360s and NCAA 09. And where we have our workout room, like when you're going out the patio to the right, there's another little room. That's where I had my Xbox set up in there. So I used to sit in there, and me and Carl would play online. He's at his house. He had lost to me. I'm not exaggerating. It was like 37 straight times. He couldn't beat me. And so we were playing, and he would always play with West Virginia with Noel Devine and Pat White. And I would play with Missouri all the time with Jeremy Macklin and Chase Daniel. So finally, like the 38th time we're playing, he finally is. It looks like he's going to beat me. And I have the ball on my last chance, and I throw an interception. Game's over, and there's like 3 seconds to go in the game, and all he's got to do is take a knee. And so he snaps the ball and tosses it to Noel Devine. And he's like talking in the microphone, and he's like laughing, and Noel Devine's running around. This is a dead true story. And all of a sudden, he's like taunting me. He's like, "I fucking beat you, you suck." and my big lineman comes out of nowhere and nails Noel Devine. He fumbles the ball, and one of my guys picks it up and runs it in for a touchdown. He loses on the last play of the game, and then like
He's
literally
never played since,
all you
probably.
hear, all I hear is like a loud crashing sound, and then it says like Carl Stevens has left the game. Oh, I can't remember what. Oh, his gamer tag's name was Son of Katie because his mom's name was Katie. It was the dumbest shit I've ever heard. Shout out to Carl though. I love you, Carl. Even though you fucked up and don't you
little Tokyo
can't fucking watch the Super Bowl with me. Can't play NCAA anymore. But we did get to play golf last time.
Maybe he'll get the game when he's over there. He'll get the.
Hey, he already left our fantasy football league because it was so. Who
knows? We'll see.
He at least needs to play some NCAA with me online.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I'm excited for that. My brother heard the news and was like, "That's the worst news for me in the last 7 years." He's gonna sit there and play that thing for days.
Dude, we could probably get our own channel of us just streaming our matches against each other. We should do that shit. Well, yes, we're gonna have a league for sure.
Sounds
good. I'm excited. Bailey's gonna play.
Bailey's
gonna play
only
road
in your dreams, Bailey.
Bailey's gonna play
your rookie dynasty mode. You're playing on over there. You just whip everybody.
Heisman. No, Bailey's going to be playing Road to Glory as the Vandy quarterback, going and taking them to the national championship in his second year, winning the Heisman 3 times, back-to-back Heisman Trophy winner, 3-time national champion.
That's fun.
But he's going to leave for the NFL early. He would never. He's gonna get his 6 years of eligibility.
Yeah, he's gonna play his
extra COVID years,
gray years.
But yeah, I guess that's all we got today. Man, I just saw Joey Bosa gonna get dropped by the Chargers.
Huh.
Just saw that. They
Maybe
can't
it's
afford
just a ton of money.
Well, they can't afford to keep all those dudes, but
yeah.
I think they're gonna take it sounds like they're gonna take a tackle in their.
Yeah, they're gonna take Joe Alt.
Yeah,
it was hilarious. They had the kid from Penn State rated like all year ahead of Joe Alt. It's like, oh, that's gonna change before the draft. And sure enough, it did. Joe Alt will be the first.
That guy's a stud. But anyway, we'll get out of here. Be sure to follow our channel. I am in the process of making multiple new channels. I have a couple. I will have a gambling video today with the best bet tonight, so check that out. And make sure you subscribe to our channel, like our video. Please throw us a comment. Tell us what you liked, what you think about what we talked about. Tell us we suck. Anything. The more comments, the better. And go follow us on social media.
Beg for Big Dog in the comments to come back. He needs that. He needs the people to know that they want him back.
Nobody wants Big Dog back.
Big Dog.
Nobody wants Big Dog. He ruins the show.
People want Big Dog.
Nobody wants Big Dog. All right, we're done with Big Dog here. All right, but yeah, thank you guys for tuning in. Episode my lucky number 21. We are still going strong. We're only going to give more and more content going forward. So make sure to subscribe, like, all those good things, and enjoy this week in sports. A little bit of a slow time, but we're picking up. We got less than a month until March Madness. Actually, exactly a month. March 20th is the first day of the NCAA tournament. So stay tuned for all that. We'll be following college basketball over the next month and some NBA. And we'll also do a little bit of NFL draft preview coming up and maybe some transfer portal things for college football. But thanks again for tuning in. This is the Slobberknocker Sports Podcast. Uncle T and Coach Lieck signing out from San Antonio, Texas. Enjoy your week. Thanks for tuning in.